I'm in a hotel. Hey guys, it's Kat. I thought that I would do another video like this one because I know I did a story time video a little while ago, and I wanted to quickly apologize for that because, like, although a lot of people thought it was really funny, there were a couple people that got really offended by it, and for some deranged reason. But so there were quite a few people who got offended by it, and I'm really sorry about that, by the way. Like, don't hate me, but yeah, I'm really sorry about that. So I took that video down because, like, people were giving me shit for it, and I don't want to go through that. So I'm sorry about that, but yeah. So today I was looking through my Instagram, and I saw one of my old friends come up, and I decided to follow her, and she was pretty awesome when me and her still hung out. And so I was thinking, because I knew her when I was, like, back at that terrible religious school that I went to that, like, nearly killed me. But so that's another story. But I thought that I would do I have any interesting stories from that school? Yes, I do. And I hope that nobody gets offended by this, because I'm sure that literally nobody from that school watches my channel anymore. But I'm not going to be using actual names or anything like that, but I do have an interesting story from this school, so I thought I might as well tell it anyway. Okay, so just a little bit of backstory here. I'm not saying that the school, I'm not going to name the school actually, but I'm not, first of all, this sweatshirt, I know that, like, a whole bunch of people are gonna be commenting, like, people who I know who watch my videos are like, you don't play Call of Duty, why are you wearing that? Well, low-key, because I was on the boardwalk yesterday, and it was really, really cold. It was like 50 degrees outside, and it was really, really cold. I'll explain it all in my New Jersey vlog, which is going up when we get home. But so I low-key got the sweatshirt just to impress my boyfriend, so, and it's fuzzy. But anyway, so back to the story. I'm not going to be insulting the school as a whole, just a little bit of backstory. It's just because at that time I was going through my really, really big teenage rebellion phase. And I don't know if any of you guys have seen those videos, like my old webcam videos from like 3 years ago, where I would just complain about every single little thing. But at the same time, like, even though I wasn't particularly nice to the school, they weren't very nice to me either. And that's what caused me to rebel in the first place. So I'm not gonna like say that the school is like a terrible place and that you should never go there. It's really good if you want to like learn more about like religion and stuff like that. But it just wasn't a good fit for me. So I'm gonna be going into detail about that, and this is the time that I finally decided to stand up to my principal. Okay, I know firsthand that, like, most people who don't know me that well, like, people who just watch me and don't, like, know me in person, think that I'm, like, super rebellious and that I've done a lot of illegal things. I really haven't. I don't even think I've done anything illegal before, except maybe stealing someone's cell phone, but that's another story. Yeah, so this is probably one of the most rebellious things I've ever done. I don't remember how old I was. I think I was like 11, maybe. I was like 11 or 12, I don't remember. But, yeah, let's get right into it. Okay, so, I was like 11 or 12, and this was when my YouTube channel was like first starting. I know I look shiny as fuck, I'm sorry. But it's just the light. But, this was like when my YouTube channel was like first starting, and, so of course I was making those videos talking about myself, like, as a person, like, talking about, like, how I like to dress and things like that. And then, of course, they got progressively worse as my life at school got worse, and I started complaining like a little bitch. But, so I, was making videos, like, you know, talking about, like, there was one where I'm just literally sitting in front of the camera eating ravioli for, like, 5 minutes, and I got all my extensions and my eyeshadow, my raccoon look, which was terrible, by the way. Happy I stopped doing that, but it was all like smeared all over my face. I looked like I looked terrible. But I would like brag about, like, yeah, I went to Hot Topic, I got this bracelet, I got this bracelet, they're pretty cool. And so I would like show off my whole goth clothes thing, because like we had uniforms at my school, but like, so nobody saw like my actual gothic style unless it was outside of school. So yeah, so I would like show that off on YouTube and stuff like that to show people how cool I looked, etc. Okay, so I played on that school's volleyball team for 2 years, and that's when I first started volleyball. That's the one thing I liked about that school, was the fact that they taught me how to play volleyball, and that's how I became a pro varsity player like I am now. But anyway, so, So I was at volleyball practice and we were getting ready for the tournament, which was like that weekend. And I'm sitting there and I'm doing my warm-ups, and my teacher, my homeroom teacher, comes down and she's like, hey, the principal wants to see you. And we'll just call her Miss Stanley. And the teacher comes downstairs and she's like, hey, Miss Stanley wants to see you. And so I'm just like, okay. So I don't really mean to bash anybody here, but I'm just going to be very honest with you. This principal was fake as fuck. Like, not even kidding. Her hair was always dyed, like some weird ass color. Like, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about when I say zebra hair, but like, you know those older, like, middle-aged women who have like the may I speak to the manager hair, like the dark brown with like the weird ass platinum streaks. Like, that's what she had. And she always had like a fake tan. She literally looks like someone who would go purging. Like, not even kidding. Like, you know the first Purge movie when they show up and they got those masks on and they're all smiley, you know, like this? That's how she was. That's exactly what she looked like. She was fucking terrifying to look at. And so, but she, of course, like, she was fake, but she was mean. Like, not to everyone else. I don't mean to say, like, I'm the victim here, but at the same time, like, she was nice to everyone else, but I feel like she was specifically targeting me because she thought I was a Satanist. And so, because of, like, how I dress, music I listen to, etc. So I get called up to her office, and I go up there, and, instantly, she's sitting there, and she's waiting for me, and she sits down in front of her little computer. I'm like, aw. And so, she looks at me, and she goes, she had a habit of calling me by my real name, and I'm going to use it, but, please, I know people, like, try to use my real name to try to be cute, but I hate it so much, so please don't say it. And, I'm being serious, I hate it so much, I will smack the piss out of you. But anyway, so she sits down on her computer, and she looks at me, she says, Katya, there is something very serious that a parent has reported that I would like to speak to you about today. And I'm like, oh shit, what did I do? Is it about when I pushed that bitch into the bookshelf last week? Because she was being a hoe. I didn't want anything to do with her. I didn't actually say that, but that's what I was thinking. I was like, I know I pushed some bitch into a bookshelf last week, but like, what did I do? That's all I've done. And like, that was like last week. You should have called me up here about it. Like, what had happened? But I didn't say anything, so I just sat there like, okay, what is it? She called me over to her computer. She said, come here. And she pulls up my YouTube video, the one where I'm standing there like, hey, look at my Black Veil Brides t-shirt. This is Call of Duty. Okay, look at my Black Veil Brides t-shirt. I got this bracelet. I got this bracelet. Yeah, they're pretty cool. I'm thinking of dyeing my hair some funky color. I got a weird funky haircut. You know, I got a tattoo. My parents don't even know about it. So she pulls up that video, that specific video, and she looks at me and she goes, do you really think this content is appropriate for people your age or for this school? And I'm like, I don't know. So she says, well, sit down, honey, sit down. Now, I'm sorry, but like, you have to, I'm going to be calling in like your dad or whoever, and we're gonna talk about this. But right now I just want to set something straight with you. Like, honey, we love you here at this school, but I mean, things like this whole goth, evil thing, like you have to protect yourself from things like that, because this whole goth thing, it's not you. You really have to try to grow out of it. What? I've been doing this whole thing since I was like 10. It's been like 5-6 years. Like, what are you getting at? So she said, so yeah, you really have to try to censor yourself from all of that, because Jesus can help you. Like, all of that stuff is very, very dark, and we don't want you being exposed to that kind of stuff. It can pull you away from Jesus. And I'm sitting there like this. This is literally the face that I'm making. I'm just like, Like, she could see how pissed I was getting. And so she continues to go on and on about that. And then I'm like, well, this is my life outside of school. I'm not bringing any of this into the school. So I don't understand really what you're getting at. So what makes you think this is okay? And she said, well, a parent who would like to be remained anonymous and confidential came in, and she said that she was very worried about you. That she was very worried about you because of this whole dark image you're trying to portray. Like, we don't want you bringing any of that into the school. And I'm like, bitch! Well, I didn't say bitch, but I mean, I did later, but that's the main point of the story. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm not bringing any of it into the school. Now, my parents, they are aware of my style, and they are perfectly okay with it. Just as long as I don't, like, wear a Sex Pistols t-shirt to church. Like, that wouldn't be good. But, like, they're perfectly okay with it. I don't know what you're getting at. And she goes, well, I mean, like I said, we're worried about you. Because all this stuff is very, very dark. And, like, we don't want you being exposed to stuff that's even worse. Okay, so... Okay, queso is cheese in Spanish. I don't know. Anyway, so, anyway, so I'm sitting there. I know a change of lighting. My mom got home and she opened some of the shades. But anyway, so, at this point, she's sitting there and she's just going on and on about, like, this stuff is very, very dark and we don't want you exposed to that kind of stuff. And at this point, I'm just pissed. And I'm looking at this bitch. I'm just like, continue. And so she just keeps going on and on about this, you know, the same stuff. And then she looks at me. This is one of the things that pissed me off the most. And she looks at me and she says, maybe you should try socializing with some of the other girls in your class. Would you like that? And I looked at her and I'm just like, you don't even understand. Those bitches don't like me. And so that just cracks me up that she thinks that I would be able to get along with the other girls in my class. Other than, like, 2. But, so I'm just like, those people don't like me. Like, do you not understand? I hear them talking about me behind my back all the time. This is not okay. And, so I tried to explain that to her, and she says, well, maybe you just need to try a little harder, and maybe if you weren't, like, trying to expose them to all your dark things, then maybe you could try to make some new friends. So why don't we try that? I can move your seat next to those other 2 girls who sit, in the front of the room. Like, you can, like, you know, talk to them, try to get to know them a little better, and maybe, like, you know, you can let all this go, because, like, you know, it'll help you grow stronger in your faith. And I'm just like, what you are telling me, and I'm like, okay, well, what you're telling me is not trying to motivate me to stay stronger in my faith. Like, I was thinking all this, I wasn't saying anything yet. And I'm just like, okay, well, what you're saying isn't making me want to grow stronger in my faith. You're shrinking me. Okay, so she keeps going on and on about how she wants me to get socialized, all that stuff. And, so I keep getting more and more angry. And, hold on a second. Alright. So she keeps going on and on about how, like, she wants me to get socialized and maybe talk to the other girls and try to fit in a bit better, and I'm getting angrier and angrier. And like I said at the beginning of the video, like, I felt so strongly about this aspect to the situation that I feel the need to reiterate. But let me say once again, my parents knew about my YouTube channel. They were okay with it. Like, they knew that I was posting videos talking about my clothes and stuff like that, and they thought that I was just experimenting and that it was gonna be like a little phase that I went through, and I wasn't saying anything bad. The videos had no sound, by the way. I had to insert little captions because the webcam that I have didn't have a functional microphone. And so I wasn't, like, cussing or anything. I wasn't turning into, like, a little Jessie Smiles. True, I'm cussing in literally every single one of these videos now, but this is when I was, like, 10, so I hadn't started, like, cussing yet or anything like that. And so my parents knew about this and they were okay with it. They thought that I was just, like, experimenting, like, showing off my clothes and all that stuff, because that's really all I was doing. And so they knew about it and they were okay with it. Okay. So my parents were okay with it, and they knew. So after Mrs. Stanley kept going on about how she wanted me to get socialized and all that stuff, and started going on about how all this dark stuff was bad for me and that I was going to turn into a Satanist, after a while she realizes that I'm not listening, which I really wasn't, because I was getting pissed and I was trying to block it all out and hopefully it'll be over. But she noticed that I really wasn't paying attention, that I wasn't listening, because I'm sitting there, I'm looking at her like this, I'm nodding occasionally, acting like I'm paying attention, but I'm really bored and pissed out of my mind. And so, she looks at me, she realizes that I'm not paying attention to what she's saying, and she leans in close to me, and she looks me in the face, and she says, "Alright, well, the main reason I called you up here is about the videos and to tell you that because I feel like you're influencing so many people in a bad way, we're gonna call your parents in a couple days and your YouTube channel is going to be taken down. This bitch had the nerve to tell me that she had the right to take down my YouTube channel. One, I've been doing it outside of school. This whole goth, Satanist thing I've been doing outside of school. Two, I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not flashing my tits on the internet. And three, I'm not insulting anybody. The videos had no fucking sound, and my parents knew about it and they were totally okay with it. So you have no fucking right to tell me that my YouTube channel is gonna get taken down. So, as soon as she said that, my face turned red. I'm one of those people that cries when they're frustrated, so people think that I hurt my feelings, but really, no, I'm just trying not to kill you. So, my face turns red, and, like, you know, like, my face turns red, I cry when I'm frustrated, so naturally, tears started running down the side of my face, and I stood up, and I got suspended so much for this. I'm surprised I didn't get expelled. But I look at her, I stand up, and I start yelling so loud, I'm like, okay, bitch! You have no right to take away my YouTube channel because it's my thing, I'm doing it, my parents know about it, I'm not hurting anybody, I'm not killing anybody, you have no fucking right to do that because you're plastic, you're a bitch! Nobody likes you! If you knew how mean you were to people and how plastic you really were, this school would be so much better and I wouldn't be wanting to kill myself! I've always hated you! And she looks at me, and she's just in shock. And she's like, well, you see, you're just further addressing my point that this thing is making you have outbursts like this. And I'm just like, no, bitch, no! I actually was cussing at this point. I'm like, no, bitch, no! You're making me have outbursts like this because you're trying to take something away from me that I have been trying to work with for a really long time. I'm trying to start something new, and you're just trying to take all this shit away from me because one parent thinks that I'm turning the precious little kid into a Satanist, which I am not. And so she's just like, okay, you need to calm down. You just need to, like, try to calm down and try to get everything together, and then maybe we can start again. And I'm like, no! Don't tell me to calm down, because you know damn right I'm not gonna fucking calm down! I'm sorry that I'm the one thing in a perfect little school that isn't perfect! And she looks at me and she says, okay, we're gonna have to do something about this. So, she calls my parents in, and, so... I feel like someone in the hotel is about to come and complain that I'm too loud. I don't care. But anyways, so, she calls my parents in, the next day, by the way, because it was the end of the day, volleyball practice was after school, and I got sent home, and I was crying because I thought I was going to lose my channel. And, so I was crying to my parents, I told them the whole situation, and, like, they already knew that the principal was mean to me and that they didn't like me, but, like, I had to finish out the year before I could switch schools again, so that I just had to kind of live with it. And, so, like, I told my parents the situation, and they weren't happy. Well, my dad wasn't really paying attention, but my mom was, and she wasn't happy. So, they went into the principal, and they didn't say anything the entire meeting. Like, they said that they knew about it, and but they didn't address any of the points that, like, I wasn't hurting anybody, and they didn't try to, like, stand up for me in any way. They barely talked. Like, she was telling them, like, going on and on about how, like, she thought I was a Satanist and that all this stuff, like, I was hurting people. And so, with these videos that were completely harmless. And so, my parents, they're sitting there like this, you know, listening attentively, nodding occasionally, not saying a damn thing. And then she said, I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to have the channel taken down. And, so, initially we didn't take the channel down. We went home, and we made the channel private. And, so then the principal, we showed her the next day that, like, it was gone. It wasn't gone, but, like, when you make a channel private on YouTube, like, it doesn't come up anymore. Like, none of the stuff on there comes up. Because you can't fully delete a YouTube channel. Like, I know you can now, but, like, back then you weren't able to. So, so we made the channel private, and we showed the lady. And then, after school got out, the summer after that year, we made my channel public again, and then I started making videos with, like, just, like, random ones, like, running cheerleaders and shit like that. And like, of course, I started making vlogs and just little story time videos, and then I started making videos like this one. And I'm sure that at least a couple people from my old school will see this video, but they have no way of contacting me or anything like that. And I know the bitch-ass principal won't see this video because she won't be seeing me again anytime soon. So, yeah. So that is the story of the time that I nearly lost my YouTube channel to, a stupid-ass principal who was really stuck up. So, and it's one of the most rebellious things I've ever done. Because, like, of course I am willing to hurt other people if they upset me, but if it's an adult, I'm just like, you know, I'm not gonna try then. But, that's the one time that I've actually stood up to an adult who's tried to hurt me other than my mother. But normally, when it's my mom, I kinda deserve it. But that was unreasonable. So, one of the most rebellious things I've ever done. So, yeah. Another quick thing, I don't want to turn suddenly serious all of a sudden, but just because, with the last Storytime video I uploaded, it's gone now, so, like, you guys can't see it. But I know a couple people did see it, the brush story. A lot of people, thought that story was hilarious, and a couple people were messaging me afterwards like, oh my god, that story had me dead! And, like, we were all, like, laughing about it. And then couple people started saying like everyone was really angry at me for it, so I took the video down, and I just wanted to quickly apologize to anybody who that offended, because I had a friend who gave me the idea for the video and I thought it was going to be funny, and a few people did find it funny, but a few other people were really offended by it, and I didn't want to like lose any subscribers or lose any friends to that video, so I took it down. And I'm sorry to anybody who that offended, but so that's a little quick apology. So to anybody who saw that video and was haunted by it, I'm sorry. Okay, so, that was another storytime video, and I hope that you guys like this one. If you want me to keep doing, like, a little storytime series on my channel, like Tana Mojo or Shannon Rose does, because they're my two big influences to make videos like this one, and, so I think they're freaking hilarious. You should check them out. But, anyway, so if you want me to keep, like, making storytime videos like this one, you guys should, like, leave me a comment or anything like that telling me, like, we want you to make more storytime videos if you think they're interesting, because I do have a lot of really interesting stories. So, I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I'll keep you updated on Snapchat, Instagram, all that stuff. And, until next time, have a good day or night or whatever.
Goodbye, motherfucker!